let's build this motor. This is a 408 stroker that comes straight from the junkyard. Today I want to show you guys how to build the strongest and highest horsepower naturally aspirated 6-liter engine. The 6-liter LS was built from the years 1999 to 2014. They came in 3 different models, the LY6, the LS2, and the LQ4. Meaning that motor came in this C6 Corvette and this delivery van. Questions you may have now is, so why don't those two cars make the same amount of power? It's due to compression ratio. The amount of compression that a motor has determines the amount of output and how much power it can take in, meaning when adding turbos, nitrous, or superchargers. Too much compression ratio can mean, and too little compression ratio will not allow you to make enough power. So now let's get into this build. The first thing we're going to need is a bare engine block. A 6-liter engine block, as mentioned, comes in the LS2, LY6, and LQ4. You can purchase this from the junkyard, depending on where you're located, for a good price between $500 to $1,000. Online, you can see this is available for around $1,500. The motor comes at a 4.0 bore, so we're going to need to bore this motor 300 thou. When building this motor, there's many different combinations you can make. If I were doing a nitrous motor, I would want high compression. If I was doing a strictly naturally aspirated motor, I want high compression. If I were doing any boost motor, you would want lower compression. This is determined by the piston. The higher compression have lower number CCs. The lower compression have higher number CCs. The next thing is camshaft. Camshaft can determine basically when does your power come on and where in the RPMs are you going to reach your peak power. So here you see a stock cam, a boost cam, and an NA cam. Really, basically cam 1, 2, and 3. The later the cam, you can see the later the power comes in. The smaller the cam, basically the earlier the power comes in. As you can see, the green makes about the same as the red. However, the power comes in at 2 different times. Choose your cam wisely. Next is the heads. TrickFlow makes some very good heads, so we're going to use 220cc heads. This is enough head for boost, turbo, and nitrous. This basically would allow us to get as much air out of the motor so we can make peak power. Runner length and intake are hand in hand. Runner length can determine basically where the power comes in and how much power you can make. There's things called high ram intakes, low ram intakes. It all depends on how much power you're going to make. Are you doing a strictly NA motor? Is it all boost? Because the runner length, the difference can be marginal, and sometimes it doesn't make much of a difference. But in this build, we're going with the Holley high ram. You see it has a slip back. The reason why is because air tends to travel higher and faster in the front parts of the motor and slower towards the rear of the motor, which is why you see high ram intakes have a mean slant to it. All in all, this is how you would build a 408 stroker. You would gain around 600 horsepower and naturally aspirated from the motor. With the higher compression, you can probably reach around 620 to 625. With lower compression, this would be perfect for boost, which would also make the motor standard around 570 to 580-ish. If you have any advice, tips, or comments that you would like to leave down below, please let me know, and let's interact in the chat below. Share your ideas, your experience, and tips and tricks to help many others build an engine like this. Thank you.